Well, hello friends. Sorry I haven't been about, but welcome to Parson's Progress. Been somewhat, well, there's nothing really going on. Where are we now? Is it Thursday? Nothing much going on in the week. Just waiting on things really. So nothing to report. And then I thought, well, I ought to do a video yesterday. And then I just felt unbelievably glum. And the reason for that was that I didn't have a lot of sleep. I think Monty woke me up early. And do you remember what that saying, Mama said there would be days like this? Well, that kind of cast the die for the rest of the day. So that and the failure of a luxury item arriving in the post and its failure to do so meant that I spent yesterday in cataclysmic depression. Not very zen. Well, it wasn't depression really, but you know what it's like when you're overwrought and you're tired and everything just feels more magnified, doesn't it? And life just feels much more dreary and almost pointless. Anyway, I'm here today with my my old Dunhill. Great pipe this. I think this is my longest standing pipe. The Peterson I used to smoke in the desert of Kuwait and Iraq and Saudi Arabia. There's no more. I don't know where that ever went to. Smoked that for quite a long time. I think I gave up the pipe and flogged it. Anyway, in it is going to go some Sillams Black. For those who like such things. But anyway, the item that didn't turn up yesterday, I call it Cameragate, because an item by special delivery was sent. Now the problem is, as you know, I live in a remote location, so I'm not exactly hovering in my baby doll garments to sign signatures when the postman decides to turn up, because I'm nowhere near the postman. So I thought, oh dear. And because it's such a high ticket item, for whatever reason, on the tracking it said item undeliverable or, I don't know, attempted delivery or undeliverable attempt or something. So I then complained to Royal Mail and say, well, why the bloody hell didn't he just come down the track and knock on the caravan and I would have signed the damn thing? I don't even know if he did try to deliver it yesterday, because there was no calling card. You normally, when you have special delivery, they sign a card, don't they, and leave it and say, oh, you can pick it up here or you can do whatever. And that wasn't there, so that was weird. So, not being in a good mood anyway and overtired, I decided to complain to the Royal Mail in no uncertain terms. I said, look, how difficult is it to open a farm gate and just wander down a few yards down a track and knock on a door? She said, oh, we got targets. Well, she didn't say it like that. She said, I can't. What did she say? Hello, how are you? No, we cannot do that because we have targets too. We have targets. He has to meet targets. And I said, well, if I'd have put my phone number maybe on a sign, at the top of the track. No. That cannot be done because we have to reach target. You cannot have the postman phoning every time he deliver parcel. He not make his target. I thought, oh, great. Okay, this is going well. And I said, but look. And he said, I see from this is after proving who I am and then sending codes through the phone and I have to put the codes in and everything. After having waited about 2 hours to get through to this, presumably, I think she was Nigerian. And anyway, once they proved it was me, she said, oh, I can see from the thing that it will be delivered again. I said, look, if it wasn't delivered today, how on earth is it going to be bloody well delivered tomorrow? I didn't swear. This is just me venting in front of you. She said, oh, but I already thought about that. So I thought, no, I'm not going to waste any time. Otherwise, this thing could be knocking around in the post forever. So what I did was I got it to be redirected to Bishop Castle Post Office. And I said, I'm not happy. I mean, time was when postmen in rural areas went the extra mile because they knew how difficult it is living in rural times. And you know, you can see old footage, can't you, of the Dales and England in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And rural postmen driving miles down unmade tracks and jumping over stone walls to get post to farms. Now, oh no, we have to make sure we get through the target. So, yeah, so maybe they wouldn't get through the targets if they have to keep going down tracks, which is why I've put the post box and the parcel delivery bin at the top of the track. Because when things don't need a signature, I mean, it would save him coming down, although I think legally obliged, they are supposed to deliver it actually to your address, not on the top of a track. But to make life easier, I just thought I'll do that. So my mood, which wasn't good first thing in the morning, was getting progressively worse. Anyway, so I'm now on the phone about 10 minutes in to my friend from Royal Mail. And I said, I'm also not happy because he doesn't whenever he does deliver anything, he doesn't close the clips on the bin. So the lid could just blow off and end up halfway up the long bin. I thought I might as well mention that while I was at it. And it's a shame because I've spoken to the fellow, and if it is the same fellow, he seems a nice bloke. But even so, I thought I can't have this rigmarole every time I get something that's signed for. I mean, Amazon and everybody else seem to manage. Anyway, she said, I pass it on. And he said, have you finished now? You finished? I said, no, I'm not finished. I said, who's this going to be passed on to, and what's the time frame when they get back to me? I can't speak any more to you. I have been on the phone to you for 14 minutes. 14 minutes. I said, I beg your pardon. She said, I'm not talking to you anymore. You've been on. I got other customers. I said, listen to me. I am the customer. You know, I am the one. We and I are the ones that are paying Royal Mail, which will presumably include her salary. I didn't mention that. See, I can't talk to you. I have other customers. I have to reach my targets. So this twice I've heard the word target. You know, you give up in the end, don't you? You just think, what a nightmare. And she said, no, I'm not talking to you anymore. I have to reach my targets. I said, well, I've got a second complaint then. And my second complaint is about you and customer service. I'd have to go through all of this again to complain about customers. I'd have to complain to customer service about customer service. Or I would have to make a complaint against the complaint people. Which is ironic, isn't it? Anyway, I'm all right today. Sorry for that little rant. I'm drinking, by the way, non-alcoholic beer. I'm doing this, it's Beck's NA, because it's too early in the day for a drink. Well, it's never too early. But one tries to practice a little bit of discipline in the ascetic life, doesn't one? Anyway, a lot of you will have tuned in because of the thumbnail. And think, why the heck is he just going on about his daily life? Well, that, my friends, if you're new to the channel, is because that's what I do. Because I don't specialise in anything. And I'm not an expert in anything. Anyway, let's close this tin up and get through to the main event. Well, today, after Cameragate yesterday, I thought, well, I'm now going to have to go and drive to Bishop's Castle. But then I thought, I've got the vet tomorrow, you see, with Monty, Lord Montgomery of the Long Mind, my cat, to have his booster jab. Can't believe it's been a month, can you? And I've asked also if they could deflea him and deworm him, and I think he's got a tick. I felt something on his chest today. My eyesight is so bad I can't work out what it is. I thought it might be a nipple, but it's not a nipple. And it can't be cancer. He's too young for cancer. It'd be a tick. Or a flea bite that's become, I don't know. No, I think it's a tick. Anyway, so I've got to take Monty to the vet tomorrow in Bishop's Castle. And I'm glad he's going to get defleed because they're biting me now. But I made up a wonderful citronella compound yesterday with my beeswax. And I rubbed that on. That seems to help. So anyway, cut a long story short, as I was going to go to Bishop's Castle tomorrow anyway, I thought, well, I can pick up the camera then from the post office. Lo and behold, I get an email saying it's been... Well, no, I didn't get an email saying it's delivered. I went onto the tracking on the eBay site and it said it's been delivered. And there was a picture of it sat in my bin. So the postman must have signed it himself and thought, I'll just leave the thing there. Which I don't mind, actually. Frankly. Because if every time you get something by special delivery, you never get it. I'd rather him just sign for it and plonk it in there and we'll take my chances. So the camera arrived and I've got it here. Would you like to see it? The main event. I better put my pipe down. And here it is, my friends. Feast your eyes on that. Better not drop it. Is it showing up all right in the... Probably not. Who never know? I never know whether these things show up, do they? But that, my friends, is a Leica. This is the Rolls-Royce of cameras. The Leica M3. Made from, I think, 1954, right up into the 60s. Is it 67? Might have been earlier than that. I'm not an expert on Leicas, but this is the M3. And this is, of course, long before they all started having light meters. You need to put batteries in it and mess about and one thing and another. This thing would work with no batteries. You could be anywhere. It doesn't rely on electronics. And it's an all-brass body, which has been chromed. You can get them in paint and some enamelled, which are black, and they cost tens of thousands. They're just unbelievably ridiculously expensive. But this one dates, it's older than me. This is 1956, this camera. And I know that from the serial number. And it's what they call a double, to move the film on, it's a double swipe. You have to do it twice, like that, before you can you hear it? So it's one of those double swipes on the film winder, as it were, which went in, I think, 1958 to a single swipe. Also of note, I think in 1957, the dial, the shutter speed dial, which you won't be able to see either, it's on the top. Maybe you will. That changed also. It used an old configuration of shutter speeds, which are historic to the Leica and other cameras that predate the M3, and they continued with that. Also to notice is it's got the old, again, you probably can't see, and I'm not going to drop it. I'll try and do that. Those lugs on the side are what they call the Buddha ears, which is quite appropriate as I like to practice Zen a lot of the time. Which again, they were riveted in, I believe, and they just became a circle, I think, on later models. But many of the earlier models had the Buddha's ear. So it's got the earlier shutter, it's got the two-stroke shutter film mover on her, and it's got the Buddha ear. So it's it's a good example of an early Leica. And that's about the size of it, really. There's the back. And you put your ISO speed on that little dial there. I bought some 400 black and white film, 400 ISO, which is quite photosensitive, so that'll be interesting. But I haven't got a lens. Not yet, anyway. Oh, there's a timer too. If you press this thing around, and then you press this, it sort of, it goes round. Hang on. What do I press? Do I press that? I can't work out how to do it now. I haven't got my specs. There you go. That's going round. Can you see it? And then that shutter will go when it reaches the top. I think it's 10 seconds. There you go. That was in the days when nobody really took selfies, but you could take a selfie with this if you wanted. So, yeah, I'm very pleased. It's very weighty. I forget how much it weighs. Is it 850 grams? It's over a pound and so. You know, it's a heavy lump of brass. It's got the name on the top, Ernest Weitz, Germany, etc. So a good thing. I'll put it down before I drop the blessed thing. But primarily so I can smoke my pipe. Now, you might think, well, Father John, what on earth are you doing with that? Because, I mean, everybody just takes pictures on their phone, don't they now? And they are bloody good, because you could do a post-edit and make them look as fancy as you want, and I have done. But I've been taking film camera shots since my teens. And in the container, I've got my old Nikon and Canon and various other cameras. I have actually got a Canon digital SLR, but I've also got my old Nikons and film cameras, which shoot 35mm. And I got a whole battery, a whole arsenal of lenses, which I'm sure with adapters would probably go on that. An adapter did in fact come today for Nikon lenses, but I'm not probably going to need it right off the bat because I've got a Voigtlander. Yes, you heard it. You heard it here. Voigtlander coming, and I'm hoping it will come by the weekend. And the Voigtlander is my lens. Now, there are expensive Leica lenses. And I thought, well, rein it in a bit, Father John. But Voigtlanders have a very good reputation and not far off the Summicrons and, you know, the various lenses which are the pinnacle of lens for an M3. I might work my way up to one of those eventually. But I thought, rein it in for now. I got a good price buying the Leica, because as you can see, it's in pretty good nick. I mean, this is a camera, 1956. I was born in 1959. Work that out. When I'm going to be 66 this Sunday. Oh, that's going to be a painful holy mass, isn't it? I'm an old age pensioner. I'm going to come on the videos and I'm going to talk like this because Father John, he's an old age pensioner, you know. I don't care, do you, about age? I know they say age is just a number. They normally say that when an older man is going out with a young woman. Ah, well, age is just a number. Tell it to the birds. I don't even know why I said all of this. Yes, so Sunday I'm an old age pensioner. Why did I mention it even? I've lost complete thread of what I'm talking about. Mind you, it does kind of segue into the fact that the reason I bought that was it's a birthday present for myself. Because it is a milestone, isn't it? And I should be getting a pension. I'm an old age pensioner and I'm going to get a pension. So I thought, well, part of the first month's pension can go on that thing. And I'm looking forward to using it. Did you ever watch that? Was it Catherine Tate show? Did you ever see the Catherine Tate show? Oh, you come to see your grain. Did you ever watch that sketch so marvellous? I like the gran in that. I won't attempt to take her off too much because she can be quite profane. Very funny though. Oh, you've come to see your grain. I'm looking forward to saying that. Oh, you've come to see Father John. I might have to start my videos like that. But anyway, so the Leica M3 is a present to myself. I didn't know which one to get. I've never been able to afford one, This is obviously second hand. It's older than me, and it's in better condition than me. I'm not sure my shutter speed and my shutter curtain are as in good nick as that, or my focal lens. But it's a present to me, and it's one that'll get used. I've always shot film in the past. I'm going to start developing my own as well, so you might want to keep watching the channel for that, as I attempt to develop my own film. And there's so much opportunities around here for photography. Yes, it is more expensive to develop your own film or send it off to get developed. Yes, you have to deal with shutter speeds, apertures, film speed, and the like. But you know, why not? And you normally only get one shot, don't you? One chance at a good photo. I quite like the challenge, and I quite like the analogue nature of it. In my container, I've got an old turntable, a Riga turntable, and I've got lots of old LPs. I like the analogue world. I like my analogue Land Rover. Says he, talking to his non-analogue camera. We shall go out on the unanalogue YouTube and be watched on unanalogue equipment, speaking into my non-analogue microphone. But by and large, I like analogue. So I'm looking forward to it, because when you do produce a good picture with a film camera, you are responsible for it. You had to get all those variables right, aperture, speed, etc. So when you get a good photo, and hopefully you'll be more consistent, a little bit like my archery, that's getting very consistent at the moment, you can say, yes, I created that photo. You didn't do it in the edit afterwards, which you can do with digital photos, adjusting exposure and grain, and you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So in other words, you could take an average photo and make it look absolutely amazing digitally. And yes, you took the photo, but you really can't take any credit for just holding up your iPhone and clicking, or any other digital means. But maybe I'm wrong. Whereas that, I mean, you can imagine it. If you take picture onto film, it's also putting you in touch with history, because there's a rupture once you go to digital. But you know, you're standing on the shoulders of photographers, historic photographers, going right back to the advent of photography, and having to do what they do. You know, take it onto film, take it and develop it. You can be in charge of every process, from the setting up of the photo to the finished product. And I'm looking forward to doing it, my friends. Now, sorry I haven't been around. Did any of you miss me? I doubt it. But you know, there's no point in doing videos if you're not feeling it, and if there's nothing to say. I was in a foul mood yesterday. I get like that. I can be in a foul mood, but it never lasts. Blows over very quickly. But I'm a great believer in venting, though, because I don't believe in storing anger up and irritation up and then just bloody exploding and going out and butchering somebody. That wouldn't be on. So I'm rather thrilled. I mean, it's a work of art, isn't it? I'm just looking at it now. It is iconic, and it is a work of art. And there are so many items that are iconic, like my Mont Blanc Meisterstück 149. They're iconic. A bat has literally just flown from through there into there. A bat. Oh, I better not say that. I'll have the bat people after me. I don't know where it's come from. Broad daylight. Well, the doors are all open, aren't they? Probably looking for somewhere to live. You ain't living in here, mate. Go on, sling your hook. Bats not welcome. So I hope you're all well, my friends. I thought I'd just chime in. The camera hasn't gone off yet, although it should do. The battery's very low. I haven't charged it. I'm enjoying my pipe. I like this Sillam's Black Sillam, or whatever it's called. I've got a haul coming, hopefully, this week too, from Deutschland. Oh, Deutschland. That's if it gets through. Fingers crossed. This is my 4th haul from Germany. But I won't talk about the contents till it arrives. Some feather arrows arrived yesterday. I've been shooting them. They're really good. Got good results with my feather. Turkey feather. Oh, the bat's decided to go. Bye-bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Laters. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, turkey feathers. And shoot very well, I have to say. I've got some hunting arrow heads coming today too, which are very sharp. Not that I should be hunting anything, but it's just nice to have them on hand. You never know in the last days when you might be called upon to find quarry in order to sustain oneself in the wilds. Anyway, my friends, I think I've waffled on enough, don't you? I could just waffle on all day long and all night long. I hope you're all well. If any of you do take photos, let me know with old Leicas. Any advice would be appreciated. I know my landy people, they give me loads of good advice about fixing Land Rovers. So any advice on the Voigtlander? It's a 50mm Voigtlander because they work best with this camera, which is 50mm. So when you look through the rangefinder, everything is as it is. So that's good for composing pictures and what have you. So I've got a 50mm Voigtlander, but I'll probably do a video on that when it arrives. I won't say any more about it, really. I've got a case coming tomorrow for it, an old, battered old Leica leather case. It's got to be done, hasn't it, really? These are the things you need to do in your dotage. Well, my friends, I'm going to leave you. No sermon. I did have some thoughts about life and over the last few days, but I'll share those probably with him later in the week. And tomorrow I've got to take Monty to the vet, as you know. So with that, I'm going to love you and leave you. This is Father John signing out. I hope you're well. Do say hello in the comments. I read every single one of them, and I think I get back to most of them, to be honest with you. And yeah, all the best. Ta-ra. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you sometime.